Okay, people, today we are doing angles and triangles. This is Unit 7. If we follow along with this video, it will take us through all the questions. Hopefully we don't skip around to the answers, but you do what you need to do. You do what you need to do. First up, the warm-up vocab. I'm only going to go over 3 of these at first. So, I got an angle, which is a figure formed by 2 rays with a common endpoint. Okay, let's talk rays first. A ray, which is what they define next, is a part of a line that has one endpoint and extends forever in one direction. All right? Next is vertex, which is another word for the common endpoint that we're talking about in our definition of angle. Okay? Vertex is the common endpoint of the 2 rays that form an angle. So, when I look at this angle over here on the right, I have a figure formed by 2 rays. 2 rays with a common endpoint or a vertex right here in the middle where they meet. All right, we are going to start to get into the questions, and we're going to return to the vocabulary as we need it to solve the problems. So starting with number 1. Number 1 says the measure of angle G is 82 degrees. What is the measure of its supplement? Okay, supplement, first vocab word we're going back to is supplementary angles. Okay, supplementary angles we're looking at right here. 2 angles whose sum is 180 degrees. Okay, we talked in class when we learned this about how 180 degrees is a straight line, or if we think about half of a circle, it would be 180 degrees, right? So supplementary angles, like these angles 1 and 2, are 2 angles that together make up 180 degrees. All right, another example is these over here. These angles CAT and angle DOG are 40 degrees and 140 degrees. So since 40 plus 140 equals 180, those are supplementary angles. Okay, the way that we remembered that supplementary is 180 is that we use that first letter, S, to create the 8 in 180. Okay, I hope we remembered that on the test. Supplement is 180. So now let's go back to our question. The measure of angle G is 82 degrees. So they got this angle G. That's 82 degrees. It's saying, what is the measure of its supplement? Well, its supplement would be the angle that we put up next to it. Okay. That together would make 180. So basically, question mark plus 82 equals 180 degrees. Now we can solve it like this by solving for the question mark like a variable. Or I can just say, if I want the supplement of 82, I want to do 180 minus 82. Okay? 180 minus 82 equals 98. So, I could double check my answer by saying, if I plug 98 back into this bad boy right here, what is 98 plus 82? Alexa, what is 98 plus 82? 98 plus 82 is 180. I don't know why I said 1. Anyways, that's it. Okay, moving on. Number 2, a very similar question. The measure of angle H is 36 degrees. Okay, what's the measure of its complement? I'm switching colors here, people, because complement is not the same thing as supplement. Let's go back over here to complementary angles, okay? Complementary angles. 2 angles whose sum is 90 degrees this time, okay? So we remember that 90 degrees is a right angle, okay? So these 2 angles here, which are ROM and MOE, create a right angle, meaning they are complementary, or they're going to add to this 90-degree right angle, okay? Another example is this angle CAR and 70 and 20. Well, the sum of 70 and 20 is 90. So these are complementary angles because they add to 90 degrees. The way we remembered that complementary is 90 was because we used that first letter C to create the 9 that is in 90. Okay? That's how I remember the difference between supplementary, 180, and complementary, 90. All right. So if I want the complement of 36, meaning the angle that I add to 36 to get 90, well, I can do the same thing I did before. I can say question mark plus 36 equals 90. And I can solve for question mark, get it by itself by subtracting 36 from both sides. Or just say 90 minus 36, which is basically what's going around over here. If you're big brain, 90 minus 36 is 54 degrees. I could double check my answer by saying, what is 54 plus 36? My Alexa does not seem to be working, so we're just going to trust that that's correct. And look, it's answer option C. So I really hope it's right, because nobody's got time to do this recording again. Number 3, which of the following could be used to solve for x? Right off the bat, I'm seeing that I have x trapped inside of this parenthesis where it's being multiplied by 4, and then we're adding another 4. Okay? This angle is right next to, or vocab word, come on now, adjacent. Adjacent means two angles that share a ray. This angle is adjacent to this angle because they share this ray in the middle. Okay? These two are adjacent angles. And there is special kind of adjacent angles that, guess what, we've already talked about, because these two angles create this straight line right here. Okay? And we know that a straight line, aka half of a really ugly circle, is 180 degrees. These are supplementary angles, like we talked about before. Okay? So, if these two angles together make up 180 degrees, well, I could just write an equation that looks just like that, okay? So taking my, I should have fixed my highlighter colors before this. Rookie move. Taking my 4x plus 4 and adding, would be purple, 108 to it. Let's see that. 4x plus 4 plus, I should get color black. This is turning into just like me, just like my real life teaching. Plus 108 equals, well, 180. Okay. This is going to help me solve for x. All right, one more time. This angle plus this angle, together they make up this straight line, which means that they add to 108 plus 4x plus 4 equals 180. That's what we have down here for our equation. Okay? Right off the bat, I know that C is correct because it has 108, which was the first angle, the purple, plus 4x plus 4, the second angle, equals 180. Okay? They're supplementary. So I know that that one is going to be correct. All right, so now let's investigate the rest of them. A says that 4x plus 4 equals 108. So they're saying, let's erase all this junk real quick. Real quick. Goodbye. 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 They're saying that this angle is equal to this angle over here. Okay. We know that there is a sort of problem where I can solve by setting the angles equal to each other, but they are not adjacent angles, okay? Adjacent angles just means that they're next to each other, okay? These two angles are not equal to each other. There's nothing that would tell me that they're equal to each other, so I know that A is wrong. Now let's look at B. B says that 4x plus 4 is equal to 72. Well, let's see if that's true. Let's get 4x plus 4 by itself, okay? To get this by itself, I would want to get rid of whatever's on the outside. So this one is plus 108. What's the opposite of plus 108? Minus 108. I would do that on both sides of the equal sign. I'm going to drop down this line right here. Okay? On the left side, the opposites cancel out. Plus 108, minus 108, that cancels out. We drop our junk that we did not touch. 4x plus 4 drops down. And on the right side, I have 180 minus 108 is 72. So 4x plus 4 equals 72. That's where they get this from. That's how I know that B is correct. Okay? Next up is D. D says that 180 minus 108 equals 4x plus 4. Well, if we are big brain, we say right off the bat, 4x plus 4 is what we got by itself over here by solving 108 minus 108. That's what we did right here, people. Okay? This is another correct option. There we go. The last one says E. X plus 108 equals 108. That's a little funky. That's a little weird. The way I would solve this one is by getting x by itself. Let's figure out what x is, and then, hang on. Pause. They're saying that x plus 108 equals 108. Wouldn't that mean that x would have to be 0? Because what do I add to itself to get itself 0? All right. So, does x equal 0? Let's find that out. Coming back over here. I'm erasing this box. Free 4x plus 4, but lock 4x back up. All right? And I'm going to drop my line down a little bit more. We're going to look outside of the box. Outside of this box is plus 4. So I'm going to call up the op. The opposite of plus 4 is minus 4. And we have to do the opposite on both sides so that it stays equal. On the left side, positive 4, negative 4. 4x, we did not touch it, so we drop it. And on the right side, I got 72 minus 4. That is 68. The last step, I have 4 and x side by side. That means multiply. The opposite of multiplying by 4 is dividing by 4. Dividing by 4. So on the left side, x equals 48 divided by 4. Oh, I should have had my calculator out. What a rookie mistake. It's almost like I'd never done this before. 17. I knew it. X equals 17. So, does x equal 0? No. E cannot be correct. Because if I were to plug in 17 for my x plus 108, that does not equal 108. So, 3, we're done with you. We're done with you. We're moving on to number 4. Number 4 says, what is the value of x? Okay, this one is interesting. I don't know if we discussed this one in class before. Whoops. Can't get them all, people. What is the value of x? So it shows me these two angles, and right off the bat, I see this little line with 2 tick marks in it. And I see the same thing over here. Let me tell you that these tick marks, when I see 2 tick marks here and 2 tick marks here, that tells me that these are equal to each other. They are equal angles. Okay? if they're equal to each other, all we need to do is take this 24 and set it equal to this 12x. So I'm going to write out 24 is equal to 12x. Well, that's just an easy problem to understand. Drop the line down. I want to get x by itself. So I'm looking right next door. It's got this 12x. That's 12 times x, multiplication. So I'm going to do the opposite of multiplying by 12, which is dividing by 12 on both sides. On the right side, x drops down. And on the left side, 24 divided by 12 is 2. Okay? 2 equals x. How can I check my answer? Oh, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked. Right here, 12x is the same thing as 12 times x. Well, we said that x equals 2. So that's what I'm going to plug into this parentheses right here. 12 times x, same thing as 12 times 2, which I know is 24, which is equal to this 24 over here. They are equal to each other. So I know that I'm right. Next one, number 5. This I kind of hinted towards earlier. These are opposite angles, okay? I remember when we learned about this the first time, we talked about how we bop our ops, we cancel our ops, okay? But we are also equal to our ops. Let me show you up here the definition of vertical angles, okay? Vertical angles are opposite of each other. And just like we said, you are equal to your op. You might hate them, but you're equals. So 134 is equal to 134. I also see my ops on this side, 46 and 46. They are equal to each other. So when I see these opposite angles, I'm going to set them equal to each other. 13 plus 3x. I'm going to set that equal to 166. Let's do that off to the side. 13 plus 3x is equal to 166. Speed run. I'm going to drop my line. Actually, I'm not going to speed run. Because why would I speed run? Only 17 minutes so far. We got 30 more minutes of class. Except for everybody who took 20 minutes to log into the laptop. So I box up my x, and I look on the outside. On the outside, I see 13. And I think to myself, what's the op of 13? Negative 13. I do that on both sides. Bring my line down. Bop the ops. Drop the junk. And I got 166 minus 13. That is going to give me 153. The last step is that on the left side, I'm left with 3x. The opposite of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3. So I bop the ops, drop the junk. 153 divided by 3. I'm going to go with 51. 51. X equals 51. How can I check my answer? Oh my gosh, what a great question. Thanks for asking. I can write this out, 13 plus 3. Instead of my x, though, I'm going to plug in the answer that I got. So I said x equals 51. I'll plug that junk in right here. Okay. I'm going to multiply. 3 times 51 is 153. Drop this down. 13 plus 153 equals 166. Okay. So if this is 166... that tells me I'm correct because it's equal to this 166 over here. I was about to ask, is that good? But it's going to have to be because it's a recording. Anyways, number 6. What is the value of x? All right, now we're talking about a triangle, okay? Triangles, they have 3 angles inside of them. These angles have special relationships with each other. Do we remember? They all add to, let's scroll back up here. All 3 angles inside of a triangle add to 180 degrees, okay? What they're showing you right here is that when I take a triangle and I rip it up into pieces, and I put those angles together like this, they form a straight line, which is 180 degrees. Okay, so going back down here, x plus 94 plus x, all three of my angles added together equal 180 degrees. Okay, let's write that out on the side. X plus 94 plus x equals 180. This is where Miss Majorana hopes you can solve this on your own, but she helps you solve it if we need reminding or if we're being lazy. So I dropped my line. Now I'm going to box my x's. There's two of them. So here's an x. Here's another x. Okay. And remember, I do not want two boxes. If I have two boxes on the same side, we can combine them. X plus x, that is 1x, plus 1x is 2x. All right. Plus 94, didn't touch it, so I'll drop it, equals 180. Box up my 2x, and I look outside of the box at plus 94. I want to do the opposite of plus 94, which is minus 94. And I do that on both sides. Okay? On the left side, bob the ops, drop the junk, 2x equals 180 minus 94 is going to give me 86. I hope. Using my calculator brain, it's 9:10 p.m. Might not be the freshest. Psych. On the left side, I got 2x, which is 2 times x. The opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2. I'm going to bop the ops, drop the junk. 86 divided by 2 is equal to 43. How can I check I'm right, Miss Majorana? Oh my gosh, that's an awesome question. Right here, I have just an x. I know that x equals 43 now. Over here, I have just an x. Well, x equals 43. Using our calculators, 43 plus 94 plus 43, all equal 180. Check mark, smiley face, moving on with our lives. All right, people, number 7 is a little bit tricky because, again, it calls on something that we should have learned in another grade. If we don't remember, that's fine. But see how these 3 sides have tick marks on it? Just like up here, those tick marks tell me when things are equal. Here, both of these angles had 2 tick marks. That means that they were equal. Here, these sides all have 1 tick mark, which means they're all equal to each other. This is called an equilateral triangle. An equilateral triangle not only has 3 equal sides, it also has 3 equal angles. So this 3x is equal to this angle and equal to this angle. Okay? This is starting to look like some Illuminati junk, but hang with me. Hang with me. It will not take us that long. If this angle is 3x, that means that this angle is 3x because they're equal to each other. And that means that this angle is 3x. They're all 3x. Also, what did we just learn about the triangle side length? Oh, no. About the triangle angle sum, we learned that all of them add together to make 180 degrees, which I don't know if you're looking at what I'm looking at. These all add to 180. Okay? I'll write that out for us. 3x plus 3x plus 3x equals 180. Okay? B, right here. 3x plus 3x plus 3x equals 180. Sounds good to me. What else do we have? 3x equals 180. Well, that doesn't make any sense because that would be totally ignoring these other 2 angles. Okay? 3x equals 180. Oh no. Okay? If I combined these 3 together, 3x plus 3x plus 3x, would give me 9x equals 180. If 9x equals 180, can 3x equal 180? Everybody says, no way, Miss Majorana. No way. All right. At this point, I say we solve for x. Okay? So, how am I going to solve for x? I already got this line ready to go. I'm going to do the opposite of multiplying by 9, which is dividing by 9 on both sides of the equal sign. So we bought the ops, dropped the junk. X is equal to 180 divided by 9 equals 20. So x equals 20. So right off the bat, is D correct? Oh no. No, it's not. Is C correct? C says that 3x equals 60. Well, let's try it. 3 times, I know that x is 20. Does 3 times 20 equal 60? Oh, yeah. C works. Last one, E. E says 3 times x, which is 20. I know, lots of parentheses going on, but stay with me. This says 3 times 20. I'll put that in my calculator. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 20 is 180. That is good. B, C, and E are all correct options. Moving on to number 8. Number 8 says, which set of lengths can form a triangle? Back to our vocab, people. We learned about the triangle side length inequality rule, and we remember saying, although this junk does not matter. We created our own rule, which was that the short side plus the other short side should always be greater than the long side. Quick break for Spanish. A short side plus a short side should be greater than the long side. All right? So, let's come down here. A, 4, 6, 9. Can it form a triangle? Well, I'm going to add my short sides together, which are 4 and 6. And for B, I'm going to add my short sides together, which are 5 and 10. And for C, I'm going to add my short sides together, which are 17 and 22. And for D, I'm going to add my short sides together, which are 20 and 21. Okay? So for A, I add my short sides together, 4 plus 6. And I ask myself, is it greater than 9? Well, 4 plus 6 is 10. Is 10 greater than 9? 10 is greater than 9. A will make a triangle. Let's look at B. B, I add my short sides, 5 plus 10. And I ask, is it greater than the long side, 15? Well, 5 plus 10 is 15. Is 15 greater than 15? Oh, no. B is not correct. Okay? I'm going to make it even more clear for us. A, good. B, bad. C, we're going to add our short sides, 17 plus 22. And we're going to ask, is that greater than the long side, 43? 17 plus 22 is 39. Is 39 greater than 43? Oh, no. Not true. And the last one, D. I got 20 and 21. 20 plus 21. Is it greater than 35? 20 plus 21 is 41. That is good. D is correct because the short side plus the short side is greater than the long side. All right, people, we got 4 questions left. Oh my gosh. Number 9 says, triangle ABC is similar to triangle LMN. I want us to remind ourselves what similar means. So you guessed it, we're scrolling back up to the vocab. Similar figures. It says 2 figures that have the exact same shape, but not necessarily the exact same size. Okay? Put this in simpler terms. Same shape, different size. If you remember, congruent is something different. Congruent means same shape and same size, okay? Same. But remember when I showed you my ugly baby picture? Similar figures are when I take something and I pull the little corner to zoom it bigger. It's still in proportion with each other, which means that I can set up proportions, which is what we're going to do for the next problem. Let's see it, people. Number 9 says, triangle ABC is similar to triangle LMN. Which side in LMN corresponds to, we're looking at this, it says BC with a line above it. That means side BC. So we're looking at this side right here. Well, I could look at it and I say, obviously it's this side right here, but we don't want it to be obvious. We want it to be difficult, right? So I think to myself, well, Miss Majorana, BC is the side that touches angle 38, but not on the side where not the side that also touches the 40-degree angle. So I look at my triangle MN and I see this same 38-degree angle. Remember, since they're similar, all of the angles are going to be the same. And I say, well, it's not the side that has the 40-degree angle. It's the other side that touches the 38-degree angle. So that's this side MN, okay? MN with a line above it means side MN. That's what we got, people. Number 10 says the triangles below are similar. Which proportions can be used to find the value for y? All right. So this is where we need to make sure that we are creating proportions that relate the correct sides. Okay? So right off the bat, I know that 10 and y match up with each other because they're these long sides, the long legs that are not the hypotenuse, right? We are not using the hypotenuse of either triangle. So 10 and y correspond because they are the long sides, which means that 4 and 12 correspond because they are the short sides. All right, let's look at these proportions, people. A says that 10 over 4, which is a long side over a short side of triangle 1, is equal to long side over short side of triangle 2. This will work out for us. B says that 10, which is long side from triangle 1, over y, which is long side from triangle 2, is equal to 4, which is short side from triangle 1, over 12, short side of triangle 2. That will work out for us because we've got triangle 1 over triangle 2 equals triangle 1 over triangle 2. That's going to work out for us. Okay? C says that 10, which is long side of triangle 1, over 12, which is short side of triangle 2, is equal to 4, which is short side of triangle 1, and y, which is long side of triangle 2. Okay. So, if I divide the long side of triangle 1 by the short side of triangle 2, that will not be the same as dividing a short side by a long side, okay? Give us an opposite proportion. So C, not good. Last one, D, uses the long side of triangle 1 divided by the short side of triangle 1. Looking good. But, oh, they messed it up over here because we do not want the short side on top. Okay? So, we matched up the triangles correctly. I got triangle 1 on the left side, triangle 2 on the right side. But I do not want a square divided by a circle equal to a circle divided by a square. Okay? This is wrong. So notice that A and B correctly link up. The triangle 1 is on the same fraction of this one. Triangle 2 are both in the same fraction of A. And then on B, triangle 1 is both on the top. Both of the ones on the bottom are triangle 2. And the shapes correspond, okay? I've got my rectangles on the top in A and my circles on the bottom in A versus my rectangles on the left in B and my circles on the right in B. Okay, that one's a little tricky. I hope we would be able to set up a proportion and solve for y on our own. But we are moving on, people. Number 11 said, what is the sum of all the interior angles of a 17-sided polygon? Okay. We did this for a couple days back in February or March. But we basically use this angle sum of a polygon, which means that I take the number of sides, n, and I subtract 2. Then I multiply that by 180 degrees, and that should tell me the sum of all the interior angles. I'm going to write that down here. N, which is the number of sides, minus 2, times 180 degrees. Okay? So, if this is a 17-sided polygon, N is going to be 17. On the inside, I have 17 minus 2. Multiplied by 180, parentheses first, people, 15 times 180. This cannot happen in my calculator brain. Not at 9:25 p.m. 15 times 180 in my phone calculator is 2,700. That is how I calculate the sum of the interior angles of a 17-sided polygon. Last but not least, number 12. Okay, it says the sum of the interior angles of the figure is 1,080. That's A. And we're trying to say, is A true or false? Okay, well, I know that I would use the same thing, n minus 2 times 180, where n is number of sides. How many sides are in this shape? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. So I got 6 minus 2 times 180. Well, I'll do my parentheses first again. 6 minus 2 is 4. Times 180 equals... This could almost go in my calculator brain. I'm going to put in my phone calculator just in case. Because we're at the very end of this video. And I don't think I've made any mistakes so far. Not that I ever make mistakes. But the sum of all of the interior angles is 720. Meaning A is not right. It says if it's false, explain why. Because the sum is 720 degrees. Duh. B says, well, each angle measures to 120 degrees. Well, let's think. We know that the sum, oh, that is not a good color. The sum is 720 degrees of all of these angles, which, by the way, are all the same. So that would be like saying the sum of this angle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The sum of 6 angles that are all the same. Let's use A to represent the length of one angle. The sum of all of those equals 720. Well, I could also, probably already said this in your big smart brain, just write 6A equals 720. Okay? I solve for A, which is each angle on its own, by dividing by 6. Okay? Pop the ops, drop the junk. A equals 720 divided by 6. That's another one that could go in my calculator brain if it was earlier in the day. A equals 120. Okay? I could check my answer by saying, if this is 120 plus 120 plus 120 plus 120 plus 120 plus 120, well, that equals 720. B is correct. Last but not least, it says x equals 360. Well, right here they tell me that one of these angles is equal to 3x. but I also know that that angle is equal to 120. So I'm going to set those equal to each other. 3x equals 120. Solve that junk real quick. Divide by 3 on both sides. So I bop my ops and drop my junk. 120 divided by 3 is 40. Oh no. C is not correct. Why is it not correct? Because x equals 40. All right. So there you have it. There you have it. I don't know what else to say at this point. If you have any questions, please send me a message in Canvas. Let me know in class. Otherwise, please take pictures of both sides of this worksheet and upload it for Unit 7. Have a great day. Goodbye.